Approximately 2 a.m. in the morning, Venezuela. Here we are near Mira.
Then I believe I'm doing something of value. So a big thank you to you all.
I'm Chris Gilbert in Caracas, Venezuela. Here we are near Miraflores Palace. People have come together to defend the Bolivarian process, to defend the government, to defend our President Nicolas Maduro. Last night at approximately 2 a.m. in the morning, we were bombed by the United States of America. The greater Caracas area was struck at a number of locations. People were killed. Buildings were destroyed, infrastructure was destroyed, and they unfortunately terribly seized President Nicolas Maduro and his wife. They kidnapped them and took them to the United States. Here we are rejecting this horrible violation of sovereignty, not just sovereignty of Venezuela, not just against the Bolivarian Revolution, but against all nations and peoples of the region and in the world who desire to be free, that desire to maintain their sovereignty and pursue human emancipation. Here, we are in control of the situation. The government is in control of the situation. There will be no transition to another government. We are calling to peoples in the world to reject this. We want the president back. We reject this violation of our sovereignty, our dignity, and our right to pursue our own path forward. Down with U.S. imperialism.
Well, Venezuela, I think by now we've all heard the story. We've all seen what's going on. And of course, as always, there's always two points of view, because division, right, makes us easier to control. And, I agree with, some of the things that he said. Basically, that men and women get to make, should get to make their own decisions about what happens with their country and their sovereignty. He was calling him, he was saying humans and, sovereignty, which you can't have both. You can't be both. One's corporate and a fiction, and one's a living man or woman. But as far as politics go, it's a game. It's a show. It's the greatest show on earth. I don't believe any of it. I believe it's all sleight of hand. So I definitely haven't, judged this as good or bad, right or wrong, or, anything that anyone did. I think there's a much bigger story behind it. But let me know your thoughts. What do you think was going on or did go on in Venezuela?
This is a message for my American friends watching the news today in English. There is a serious inaccuracy in the coverage. Venezuela is not undergoing a regime change. Venezuela already has a democratically elected president, Edmundo Gonzalez. He is the president. Nicolás Maduro is not the president. He never was. He stole the last election and led a criminal organization linked to terrorism and drug trafficking, El Cartel de los Soles. And today, thanks to the vision and courage of the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, the decisive leadership of the President Donald Trump, and the actions of Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, the United States has finally recognized a fundamental truth. Protecting our hemisphere from terrorism, drug cartels, and authoritarian ideologies is a matter of national security for the United States.
Well, there we go. The two points of views that they want us to fight about. America good, America bad, right? Orange man good, orange man bad. Like I said, I think this is the show in the 2D world. Everything we get shown on the news and all this stuff, it's a circus, right? It's just to create division and arguments between people. I'm right, you're wrong. That's the basic crux of it, right? What's really going on? Well, I mean, it's an edge. Who knows? I'm not judging it. I find it all interesting, and I'm getting more information. But if you've looked into it, you would have heard that China has got military ships, navy ships, out in international waters off Venezuela. And is this really about drugs and a drug cartel? I don't know. An interesting point I'll just put in here is the Secretary of War. That position used to be called the Secretary of Defense. Now it's the Secretary of War. Interesting. But there's something else going on behind the scenes. And it's always, most will always follow the money, right? It's to do with money. It's to do with valuable minerals. It's to do with gold and mainly silver, as far as I can tell. I've done a bit of research into this, and of course, it's not what we're being told. There is other stuff going on behind the scenes.